In this video, we are going to build the number detector. The number detector should accept the number from the user and it should detect the type of the number, whether the number is even, odd, prime or composite. Here it is. Inputting 5 returns odd prime, inputting 0 returns even, inputting 1 returns odd, inputting 2 returns even prime. So this is the program that we are going to build here. Basically, in mathematics, we have even numbers, odd numbers, prime numbers, and composite numbers, and all these are the types of the whole numbers. And that whole number start from 0. Even numbers are the numbers which are divisible by 2, and the odd numbers are the numbers which are not divisible by 2. The numbers which are not even numbers are odd numbers, and the prime numbers are the numbers which has only two factors, and that two factors must be 1 and itself. And the composite numbers are the numbers which are not prime numbers. So here the prime numbers can be the even numbers or the odd numbers, and the composite numbers can be the even numbers or odd numbers. But basically we know that the one and only prime number is even, and that is 2. Except 2, every prime number is an odd number. So let us start. Let us accept the input from the user. So here we are accepting the integer from the user and storing it in the number variable. And the condition here is the number should be the whole number. That's why I'm using this if statement. And after checking whether the number is a whole number or not, we are going to check whether the number is an even number or an odd number. So if number is divisible by 2, then that should print that is an even number, else that is an odd number. So we can detect whether the number is an even number or an odd number. Now we are going to detect whether the number is an even prime or even composite number. So we know that only one and only even prime number is 2. So adding the separate block of code for 2. So if number is 2, then just print that is an even prime. And we also know that if the number is 0, then that is just an even number but not prime or composite. Using else statement. So here I am using else statement to print the numbers even composite, and they are the numbers other than 2 and 0. That's why I'm using this if and else statement. And now we can detect whether the number is an even number or even prime number or an even composite number. Now let us see for odd numbers. We can easily detect whether the number is an odd number, but now we should detect whether the odd number is a prime or composite. So as 2 in even numbers, we have 1 in odd numbers. So it is neither prime nor composite. That's why I'm using if statement here. If number is 1, then just print that is an odd number. And using else statement, for the numbers other than 1, here we want the program to detect whether the number is a prime number or not. So here it is. Let me explain this block of code. So if we observe any number, the factors of that number will lie between 1 and that number. So that is the reason why I am using the range. So we are taking the numbers in between 1 and the considered number. So that starts with 2 and ends with number minus 1. And to iterate the same process for every number, we are using this for loop. And that process is to check whether the number is a factor of the considered number or not. A number divides something perfectly, leaving remainder 0, that is a factor of that number. So if we have even one factor, then that number should be a composite number. That is the reason why we are using that. So it is enough to have only one factor to detect whether it is a prime or composite. So I'm breaking the loop here. So even it has one extra factor, that will be the composite number, and that is the reason that why I'm using break statement here. So what if it is not a composite number? Obviously that should be a prime number. Let me run the code. So entering 0 returns even, entering 1 returns odd, entering 2 returns even prime, and 3 returns odd prime, 4 returns even composite, and 5 returns odd prime. But here the problem is that it is printing for 3 times in case of 5. So the mistake would be in this for loop. Let us find the mistake. So first of all, it is considering that this number is 5, and it is considering that I is 2, and 5 modulus 2 is not equals to 0, obviously. That's why it is skipping to this else statement. That is the first line of code, that is odd prime, is because of this 2. And then I is going to be 3, and that also returning false, and that is skipping to this else statement, and that is the reason why we have gotten this odd prime the first second time. And then it is checking for the same process for 4, and that leaves this odd prime for the third time. So here, to avoid this problem, we can use a small logic here. So let us check all the numbers once, and if there are no factors, that means if every number returns false, then return this only once. That means 2 should be checked first time, and if it is false, do not do anything but just skip to 3, and 3 should be checked by this, and if that is also false, do not respond, and then next check for 4, and even if that returns false, do not do anything. Why do not do anything? Here all the numbers have written false, so then we should print that is odd prime. So it is enough if we leave this else statement for loop. So here we are using for else statement instead of if else statement. From 2 to the number, and if all of them return false, then that will be escape to this else statement. But if any one of them is true, then that prints odd composite, and that breaks at that time. So let us run the code and enter 5. Yeah, it is returning odd prime just once because of this for else statement. Let me use a negative number now. Yeah, I have used this -5, but here it has not printed anything. Thank you.